Yo, hip hop heist, man. What up? We back at it with another reaction. Carmelo, Vince, T-Mac, and Reggie react to Michael Jordan talking about GOAT debates. Shout out Chaz NBA with the clip. This Hip Hop Heist TV. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe. Go check out the merch down below and follow along. We getting to it right now.
To excellence, it's posted on the channel. Michael Jordan spoke about the GOAT debates and basically said you'll never get an answer because those being considered never played against each other in their primes. And here's what Carmelo, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady and Reggie Miller had to say about MJ's comments.
And I like the conversation about each generation kind of gets their own GOAT. You know, how would you describe the way that he put it into context in the GOAT conversation that we could all be having about the NBA?
I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect what he said, how he put it. I mean, as far as he made a great point. I never played against Oscar. I never played against Jerry West. So that should say it right there. That should tell it all. But I'm not mad at him speaking from that perspective. But he also got to take himself out. It's hard for him to have that conversation. But one thing about MJ, he gets it. He understands it. All the GOAT talk, it is what it is. LeBron never played against MJ. MJ never played against Oscar. Like, it's just, we would never get to the bottom of that conversation.
You won't get to the...
I think that's facts. I think, I think you could be the GOAT of your generation, but, GOAT of all time. I guess GOAT is greatest of all time, right? But I'm saying you could be the greatest in your generation, but we'll never really know. The game is different every generation, too, so... But Michael Jordan was a bad you know what I mean?
The conversation is, I think there's multiple GOATs, right? There's GOATs of the era. And, when you have the 50s, the 60s, 70s, 80s guys, it's the rules, the evolution of the game, the rule changes and the physicality.
T-Mac, shout out T-Mac. We just said all that. So that lets us know we on the same, you know what I mean? We all on the same idea, like. He said it greatest, the GOAT of the era,
You can't really compare different eras. So if you were the best player in that era and we consider you the GOAT, that's what it is. Here's one of the things I think at that is like when you say GOAT, you're talking about the greatest of all time. So I think that's where we get the collective of everyone. You got to be one. But like I said, the question is to be who's the greatest of that era of our time. When you say GOAT, this is where we get into that conversation. But I love what MJ said. He's like I said, I didn't play against him. We were talking about it real quick. MJ would have been a bad man in a lot of these eras.
50s, 60s, and 70s.
I mean, even now. So just imagine. I mean, I always say, think about what MJ was doing. He was averaging 30 plus in the hand-checking era, in the physical era where there wasn't very many flagrant fouls. So I just hate the conversation. I entertain it, but I hate the conversation.
I think he understands. MJ understands what this is all about. Like one thing I appreciate about him is he's never gonna feed into that topic right there, like that conversation. So for him to say the guys that he named and picked, and let's look at this from a generational standpoint.
We got to go from GOAT to greatest of that time. He's the greatest of that time.
Absolutely, pretty good though.
Mike Tirico, who did the interview, Reggie Miller joining us now. I'd love to hear your thoughts because you were in the room when it happened too, Mike.
Yeah, it was fun just to get Michael engaged in the conversation because he doesn't want to go there, right? But once he went there, it was interesting stuff. I'm sitting next to a guy who, when Steph Curry started to become this otherworldly shooter, the conversation came up about you being the greatest shooter of all time. So you've been in one of those conversations. How do you read what Michael said and what the guys were just talking about with Maria?
Let me first start by saying I wish that MJ, the kinder, gentler, where was that when I was going against him? Because there was none of that. I love his humbleness. And look, I've been on record saying I think that Stephen Curry is the greatest shooter that I have personally seen. But I drew a lot of my improvisations from Larry Bird. To me, I thought Larry Bird was an unbelievable shooter. A lot of my game came from him. You're never going to win when you get into the GOAT discussion because everyone's going to have their opinion. I think where the old heads get upset is this younger generation wants to talk about, well, Mike only played against plumbers. These guys really, they need to stop that and respect the guys that came before in the 60s and 70s, because what was cool about that piece, you and I were over here, and we were watching our comrades in Tracy McGrady and Vince and Carmelo, how they were watching Mike, hanging on every.
You gotta remember, Mike spoke about this in that interview. But you gotta remember, like, the people now that's playing now, they have GOATs in their minds that they looked up to and influenced by. And the ones that and those same people that they look up to, they have people that they looked up to in the previous generation. So it's a constant cycle of being influenced by the previous generation. So you can't ever overlook what these people did in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Now we're in the 2020s. Like, you can never overlook what those tops of the tops did in that time for you to be influenced by them to be able to do what you do now. You get what I'm saying? That's so deep. Shout out us.
Viewing what he was saying, to me, he has an aura about himself. And to see those guys are great in my opinion. And for them to give him a lot of looks and be so attentive, that was very cool to see.
The same way when players come out to play these games on Sunday Night Basketball, they go over to those guys because they inspire them. It is, without getting too Pollyannish about it, it's the joy of sport when the next generation hands off. The hope is that this generation can go back and look at Oscar Robertson and Jerry West. Yes, the athleticism was a bit different, but the accomplishment within that era, it makes what is great about sports fun conversation.
Mike, come on, man. You could have been nice to me and my Pacers. What's the deal? All nice and humble, talking nice about players.
The more time next to him.
Hey, shout out Reggie Miller too, man. He was a bad man too. You know what I mean? So all these guys up there, Carmelo, Vince, T-Mac, Reggie, like, these guys are all top tier, man. Let's go back to this clip though. Shout out Chaz NBA. We gonna hear Michael talk about it real quick one more time. Yeah, man, we knocking out every reaction today.
I checked Allstate first.
Definitely not doing that. We gotta bypass that. Let's get to a comment. Said Michael Jordan being spot on with no agenda. That's crazy. Right. That's deep. That's what's up.
Michael Jordan spoke about the GOAT conversation, and he also spoke a little bit about the Olympics and if the world is catching up to Team USA.
One thing that's never changed with sports fans is the debate about the GOAT. Who's the greatest of all time? So it's rare that I get a chance to sit down with one of the guys who's debated about to talk about the conversation of that term, the GOAT.
The whole GOAT term is never going to be something that I ever will get high or low about. You know, it just doesn't exist with me. I never played against Oscar Robertson or Jerry West. Would have loved to. Absolutely love to. Just a competitor that I am. You know, and I actually learned from them. You know, and we, you know, paved the road to the Kobe's and the LeBrons, right? You know, and to me, it's the beauty of the game of basketball that a player, after a previous player, has evolved the game further. Mm-hmm. But don't then, in essence, this is where I look at it, you know, don't then now use that against the player that actually taught you the game or that you learned from. Yeah. And that's why I have a tough time. And, you know, look, I would love to have played against LeBron and, you know, Kobe in my prime. You know, I would love to have played, you know, against those guys. But we'll never be able to know that. Part of the marketing, part of the hype, part of the things that tries to elevate one generation above the other, right. I think it creates animosity. I have no animosity against today's players, but you do have certain players that do have animosity because of the forgottenness of what their contribution has been to the game of basketball. It is what it is. It is a empty comparison. It's an absolute.
Man, that's crazy. Nah, it's actually really good to hear Mike say this, that you can only be the greatest of your time. That's it. You know, you can only be influenced by previous generations. And that's it. You know, there's really no GOAT because you can't. LeBron can't play Jerry West. Michael Jordan can't play Jerry West. Kobe, Kobe's prime can't play LeBron's prime. Kobe's prime couldn't. Michael Jordan's prime couldn't play Kobe's prime. So it's always just an ongoing, never-ending conversation. But hey, man, we here to talk about it. This Hip Hop Heist TV. Thanks to Chaz NBA for the clip. I'll put those two video clips that we watched for the original in the description. You guys can go check out the full at any time. Hit that like and subscribe for us. Go buy that merch. That really helps us bring this content to you while we pay the bills. You feel me? And let's keep going, man. Be happy, be healthy, do what you got to do to survive. Like Pac said, also, man, be of service. Help somebody out today. I feel like that's the real reason we here on this earth, is to be of service. So all that other ish, man, be happy, be healthy. We out. Peace.